From the campus of California State University, Fullerton, I'm Roger Cooper, and this is OC Insight. Have you noticed we don't seem to hear much about HIV and AIDS anymore? What happened? HIV/AIDS certainly hasn't gone away. Has the public tuned out because of fatigue or lost interest in the mistaken assumption that new treatments mean HIV/AIDS is no longer a problem? HIV is still very much here and still spreading, and into groups that may surprise you. The changing face of HIV and AIDS in Orange County. That's this time on OC Insight. Well, despite decreased media attention in recent years, HIV and AIDS are still very real life and death issues in Orange County. With a look at why we should all still be concerned, here's Cameron Harp.
Even as we near the 30th anniversary of the discovery of HIV and AIDS, there are still many misconceptions about the causes and the age groups most impacted by the disease. When Orange County residents were asked what the most prevalent causes of HIV and AIDS are, responses varied.
I know that people can get it through sex or sharing a needle or tattoos. My guess would be that sex is the most prevalent.
I'm gonna say sex, possibly drugs with needles.
Either like blood transfusions or like through sex, like an STD.
Proportion of people that got HIV/AIDS in connection to injection drug use has decreased. So, which indicates indicates many things. One of the things that has changes in the drug epidemic, but also indicates that HIV prevention programs for injection drug users are fairly efficient and have worked. The bad news is that HIV/AIDS cases in connection with unprotected heterosexual intercourse has increased.
Respondents were also questioned on what they thought the most common age group is in HIV/AIDS patients.
I would say early 20s.
I'd have to say 30.
At least for America in the 30s, for other countries, I would assume it to be far lower.
Groups under 25, there was a high incident there's an increase in that. And I checked the CDC website. I think I also saw the elderly population.
A recent increase of HIV/AIDS, people with HIV/AIDS among people in their 20s, also in their 40s, and even people over 50, which is an interesting piece of data in the sense, or information in the sense that many senior citizens are not aware that they may be at risk for HIV when they're having sex, especially in this post-Viagra era.
As the fight against HIV and AIDS continues, a little education goes a long way. For OC Insight, I'm Cameron Harp.
Well, let's check our ideas about this. Has AIDS kind of dropped off the map, or is that just an impression we have right now?
I think that's an impression we have right now. I mean, HIV and AIDS has definitely not dropped off the map, but we're just not seeing that same ugly face of HIV that was so important to rally people around the cause back in the 80s. So I think it's under the radar, and the general public doesn't see it as often.
I'd like to delve deeper into how the face of AIDS and HIV may be changing. These days, a person living with HIV/AIDS could be just like you. Carly Gomez reports.
We sat down with Orange County native Renee Austin at Cypress College to get an insight of her life living with HIV.
I'm here today to speak to a group of nursing students for one of the classes, and I generally come here once a semester, and it's a great experience because they've already had the HIV 101. They know about transmission and all that. Now it's about learning how to respond to somebody that's actually living with it. I was diagnosed with HIV in 1995, and I'd like to say I had some reason to go get tested, but it was truly for no other reason than I wanted to be able to say that I didn't have it. You walk in and they do the blood test, and you have to wait a week for the results. And so I went in and I wasn't at all nervous. I mean, I really thought that it was going to be negative. And he said to me, "I'm sorry, the test came back positive." Back then, in 1995, the average life expectancy for somebody with HIV was 12 years. I've already beat those odds, and with the medications that we have out today, it's really the potential for me to live a long life is unlimited. The CDC has said that it's not the people that are aware of their status that are causing the new infections, it's people that don't know their status. I chose to have unprotected sex with someone who, to me, the status was unknown. And so I have to take a certain level of responsibility for that. I kept thinking, it doesn't happen to people like me. And then at some point, it registered. That's so wrong. HIV stands for human immunodeficiency virus. The only criteria is that we're human. The saddest statistic is that every 9.5 minutes, someone's infected with HIV in this country. I've lost both of my brothers, one from a brain aneurysm and the other one from brain cancer. And I wanted to say, guys, I'm the sick one. You know, I'm the one that we were worried about, and I'm the only one that's left of the three of us. So life teaches us funny things. I try to live my life with joy. I pray. I'm happy. I don't use drugs. I don't drink too much. I try and sleep enough and eat well. And I think that's the goal, though, that any of us can have in our lives, right? To just live the best life possible. Just appreciating, you know, the beauty and the things that we have here to experience is one of the key points of staying healthy and happy.
Well, Jorge, I dare say 10 years, 20 years ago, she was not the face we expected to see on an HIV story. Am I right?
Absolutely. And I love seeing Renee's face on camera because she is the complete antithesis of what people expect HIV is. And she said something that I think was immensely profound, which it's the human immune deficiency virus. So in a way, all these statistics that we throw around as to who's getting it works against us because people can find comfort in like, oh, I'm not in that highest percentage. And the truth is, all you need is blood. All you need is to have unprotected sex and you can get it. So a Caucasian blonde woman coming on television, I think, is a very important thing for people to grasp. And this is becoming, in women, 70% of the women that have it in Orange County are heterosexually acquired.
Let's take a look now at the community response to HIV/AIDS right here in Orange County. Are there people willing to get involved here? Brent Foster found the answer, and it's yes.
It's World AIDS Day, and we're in Laguna Beach with OC residents gathering for a candlelight vigil.
What we're trying to accomplish tonight is to provide exposure to the greater community of what the HIV Advisory Committee does, get people to get tested, find out other information, and most of all is to remember those who have passed away from HIV and AIDS.
The message, I believe, is to get educated, get tested, find out your HIV status. Then you can know how to take care of yourself and people that you may be, intimate with.
In addition to the vigil, there were booths set up with information on HIV and AIDS, and there was also a free rapid testing station where in a matter of seconds they could tell if you were positive for AIDS.
There's been an explosion of HIV within the Latino community here in Orange County, both male and female. So it's not a gay disease. It's not targeted at any population. It's just a human disease.
Medication advances have helped sustain the lives of those stricken with HIV and AIDS.
Now with the advances in medication, you can expect people to live full, healthy lives, in excess of 20, 30 years since their point of diagnosis.
As the vigil concluded, we headed inland to Fairview Community Church in Costa Mesa. Here, another candlelight vigil was underway.
We feel that it's important to be here as people of faith, to make this a sacred event so that this is a part of who we are as religious people.
After the heartfelt speeches, Andrea Coulson sat down with us to reiterate that AIDS is still a problem in Orange County.
The medicine has allowed people to live longer, but we still have no cases. So people sometimes confuse that the medication is there with HIV and AIDS is not in Orange County anymore, where the statistics are that people get infected every day.
We continue to have hope that there will be a cure, but right now prevention is the best way to control the disease. And prevention is based on awareness and accurate information and knowledge and the availability of testing.
Every December 1st is World AIDS Day, where people from around the nation and the world come together and shed light on this very important issue that continues to be a silent killer. For OC Insight, I'm Brent Foster.
Well, we're almost out of time, but we want to remind you, you can view this program or any past episode of OC Insight in its entirety online at ocinsighttv.com.